Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
Namaste.
morning.
This morning's course will be about 101 and Indian music and how we can construct it and use it for fusion as well. So, in Indian music, there are hundreds and hundreds of ragas between Southern Indian music, Northern Indian classical music. And in Northern Indian classical music, we work from 10 tuts. And the 10 tuts have titles, but within them are dozens of ragas. In fact, in Kafi Tat, there looks like there's about 40 of them. So we work within those ragas. The main thing about those ragas is really the time of day, the season, the going up and the ascending and the descending. They're specific. You cannot break away from them. Of course, when you've mastered it, you can break away from them as much as you like, just like we do when we scout or we do whatever we like within a key. But you can't really say the ragas are within a key. But the beauty of the notation is this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please turn off the phone. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, Mani Auntie and Francis wanted to collaborate with melodies that were favoured, and they actually wrote a form of notation very similar to what we're doing, so as it was easier on Mani, with numbers. And that would be great if that's how we could do it, and that's what I've learnt to do, is take them into numbers. So it's really just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's very similar to Kadai method. It's very similar to our own notation, except of course it's not, because it belongs to seasons, times of day, different going up and different coming down. And you can throw some notes in, but you can't with some ragas. And sometimes a candle has to be lit for a certain raga, and so on, especially some of the things similar to our modes. So what we have is names of the notes. We call them Saregam, pa, da, ni, sa, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. Now nothing is as in our notation. It's all like a spin. Sarega, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. These notes have beautiful names. Number 1, Sa, is Saja. Number 2, Re, is Rishabha. Number 3, Ga, is Gandhara. Number 4, Ma, is Madhyama. Number 5, Panchama, Pa. Devata, Da. Nishada, Ni. And at the top again, Sa. So we shorten them to Saregama, pa, da, ni, sa. The only thing to watch are all are except Re and Ni, the second and the seventh. And eventually they get shortened to just the letter. So you have to focus on the second and the seventh. But you can just say just the same. Saregama, pa, da, ni, sa, sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. Page 3, please, Betty. They have the same as us, choruses, verses, free form, notes used the most, octaves, ascending and descending. That's pretty much down to that point that we need to bother with today. The chorus is called the astai, you'll see that, and the chorus is always up the top, just like in our music. Antara is the verse. Vadi is the note used most often, which is usually the first, sa. Satuk, octaves, arohi is going up and avarohi is going down. In Indian music, this is very important. The notes used going up and different notes sometimes used going down. Next page, please, Betty, page 4. In the pieces we're doing today, or we're going to try to do, 4 pieces. We're going to have the names of Krishna in 2 of them. One of the names is Madhava, that's Krishna, who was born at the Yadavi tribe, ascending from the Madhava. And the other name used most often is Girdhari, he who held the mountain on one finger. So whenever Girdhari is in a bhajan, we're talking about this particular Krishna showing his miraculous self, this aspect of miracles of Krishna. And often then that song will have something transformative or miraculous within it. And there are all these other. Giridhara Nagara is he who then became a town person and was dressed up and looked beautiful. So when people go to the YouTube later, they can pause on these sheets and read the following names. Page 5, please, Betty. And then we have the beats. The beats are the feet, they're the root, they're hum, they're rum, they're all of the chakras, they are everything, the beats. And so the most important beat is 16 beats, which to our ear just sounds like 4/4. It's da din din da, da din din da, da tin tin ta, ta din din da, da din din da, da din din da, da tin tin ta, ta din din da, da din din da, da din din da, da tin tin ta, ta din. In Kathak we call it da din din da, da din din da, na tin tin da, ta din tin da, just because we put an extra beat in with our feet. Then if we go down the bottom there, we'll see Kerawa. Now Kerawa sounds the best to us. It's kind of rocking out, you know. Daganati takadina, daganati takadina, daganati takadina, daganati takadina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then just in the middle there, you'll see dadra, which to us sounds like a waltz. Dadina, datuna, dadina, datuna, dadina, datuna, dadina, datuna. 6 beats, which we hear as 3/4. We might get to the last piece that, and at least as an example, we will, to hear that. So now let's go on and sing together, muted. Page 7, please, Betty. So the raga we're going to concentrate on first is like our major key. Saregam padani sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So while they've got the harmonium playing, the orchestra exists of the tabla and the bai, the harmonium, the tanpura. The tanpura plays arrhythmically. It doesn't join in with the rhythm, so as it can create the it's da 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 da, it's 1/5. It stays just on that all the time, and the person has to focus not to fall back into time playing it, sitting on the floor behind whoever the maestro is. It's tuned to 1/5 sapa for this mixed rag, normal rag. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa ga re ma ga pa ma do pa ni do sa ni sa ra ni pa do ma pa ga ma re ga sa re sa a a a Saregama Padanisa Sanidapa Magaresa 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 Saregama Padanisa Saregama Magaresa Saregama Padanisa Saregama Magaresa Saregama Padanisa Saregama Magaresa Now you can see Indians are so elated when they sing, you know. So then we go to page 9, and things get a little more complicated. Oh, actually, show them page 8, just so as it's sort of interesting to people that are interested in such things. This is a Leah Billowell. It's sort of natural. It's somewhat like our major key, except they throw in a flattened 7th here and there. And at the time of day is 9 to 12. We're okay here on the East Coast. Aliappa Khan used to say that if you pay a raga at the wrong time or in the wrong season, he'll hear it. So we were quite, we did as we were told. And you can see there the paka, the main notes, and you can see the arohi and the avarohi, the ascending and the descending, are actually not just in a straightforward order. They skip about. This chalan, this main melody of the composition, is not the composition we're going to do, but they set it up that there's a main melody that they draw from. And it's why when you have something in Bhairavi like Ujjave or the 7 Names of God, they sound so similar because the chalan is the same that it's drawn from a minor key. So let's now go to page 9. This is my scroll, and it looks scary, but it's not now because you've looked at all those Saregama Padanisa, Sanidapa Magaresas. And this is how the notation is set out. It's very simple. It's just 4 notes, 4 notes, 4 notes. This one's got them divided in 2, so it keeps repeating, because this particular bhajan is sort of like a religious instruction bhajan. Oh Krishna, you are so lovely. I garland you, victory to you. These are very loose translations from my Hindi teacher. The first verse is, your glance is so very beautiful. You have beautiful eyes, you have nice ears, and you have a lovely garland. Oh, Krishna is so beautiful because he ate lots of yogurt, Eugene. He ate lots of yogurt, and he has very nice skin. He makes beautiful music and dance. Dance, darling Krishna. Now, in the last verse, they tell you one of the scriptures. Draupadi, who had all those husbands, is lost by one of her husbands in a dice game. And they try to defile her, and they pull her sari, and she spins around praying to Krishna, and the sari is unending. It's unending. They cannot defile her. They cannot get the sari off. So they're telling one of the Rig Veda, or one of the early stories within Hinduism. Draupadi is lost in a dice game. She prays to Krishna, and her sari is unending. She cannot be defiled. So let's go to the top again, to the gagas. Betty, just that's it. Oh no, not that one. The next one. Thank you. Woo! Back. There. In the middle. I did 2. Next one, page 9. There we go. So this is called Jai Madhava. I do believe the melody was put by my teacher, Ritaji. And so we have on the top, Saregama. Oh, these, I have to go up here, sorry. Saregama, Rani, Sa. Now that's tricky that that's thrown in there, but when the melody's playing, it sounds completely natural. So let's try this in Saregam, in the capital case letters of the astai, the chorus. Ga ga, ga ga, ga ga, ma pa, re re, sa ni, sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga ga ga, ga ga, ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga ga ga, ga ga ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga 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 ga, ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga 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 ga, ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga 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 ga, ma pa. So we'll go in Saregam onto the next line, and that's the whole of the chorus. Ga ga ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga pa 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 pa, da ma ga ma ga re ga sa pa 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 pa, da ma ga ma ga re ga sa pa 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 pa, da ma ga ga re ga sa, to the top. Ga ga ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga ga ma pa, re re, sa ni sa 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 sa, sa ni sa ga pa 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 pa, da ma ga ma sa pa 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 da ma da ma 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 ga re ga sa. Now let's go to the nice, easy words. And you know, the brain right now is starting to say, oh, I've had enough of this. It's like a jogging. You know, you've got to get through. You've got to get through and keep jogging. It's a wall. It's learning something new. So what are the lovely words here? Jai Madhava, Jai Baba, Madana Murari. And then Jai Keshava, Kalimala Hari. It's so simple once you see the words. I wished I had put them down the side for you. I have on other ones. Let's try the words. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Keshava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Keshava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Jaya Keshava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Keshava Kalimala Hari. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Okay, we've got the chorus down. We're rocking here. This is fantastic. So then the verse is actually very simple. We'll only do one verse of each one at the start, but at the end we're going to rock through all of them. So here we're saying that Krishna is beautiful. Sundar means beautiful. All those girls with the name Sue, in the East, that's very exotic. They're beautiful. This harmonium is falling apart as I play it. Let's go back to slow motion and our Saregam. Gama da sa, gama ra da ni da pa, gama da sa, gama da 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 pa, da ni da pa, gama da sa, gama da 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 pa, da ni sa sa ni sa do pa ma ga ma re ga pa 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 sa 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 ni sa do pa ma ga to the top. Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Sundala Kundalya Maya Manishala Sundara Kundala Maya Manishala Dala So Ibai Janti Mala Dala So Ibai Janti Mala Ya Javiti Mali Hari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Sundala Kundala Sundala Kundala Dala Soti Bai Janji Mala Dala Soti Bai Janji Mala Ya Javiti Bali Hari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Hari Jaya Kesava Kalimala Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Wawa! And do we have any questions or something in the chat, Betty?
I wonder if you could sing a chorus like one octave lower, just for demonstration purposes.
I could try. Soon, whoa. Sundala Kundala Nayanari Shala Sundara Kundala Nayanari Shala Gale Sohi Bai janti mala ya chavi ki bali hari jaya madhava madana. That might be easier on the boys, yes. This is written in, when you go to an Indian teacher, they give you your sa. They decide, and that's it. Mine happens to be B flat. We're doing this in C for convenience in case anyone wanted to play along, but mine is B flat. And when you do this for 25 years, you end up with a form of perfect pitch in this type of notation. So it's actually a little difficult for me to go up a tone like this. But you can see that this is very simple. It has a chorus and 3 verses that repeat, and it comes back in and it wants to keep going. And every line in Indian bhajans is repeated twice because many of them are instructional or sort of like hymns, religious instruction. And are there any questions?
Rainey, I can't see the chat. Maybe Diana, since you're here, if you wouldn't mind looking at the chat and monitoring it, because when I'm sharing, I can't see it.
Okay, well, I can say that Shailaja says, so beautiful, Rainey. And that's
Good. Elijah's here now. I'm really nervous.
Jai Baba.
Oh, dear Baba, how are you?
Jai Baba.
How are you?
Sorry, I joined late. We're on the road, in and out. So
Are you returning?
we're on our way to the center now. So we picked up Marcia from her hotel. And Marcia is with us.
Oh, nice.
So, Sally, all we did was Jai Madhava, an old Alaya Bilawal Jaya Madhava Madana Murari Jaya Keshava Kali Malahare Jaya Madhava Madana Murari. Just to introduce natural raga first. So now we're going to go on to what I would say to you, that something famous for since Mirabai would be a bhajan, and don't forget to do the Mirabai course next Saturday, would be something like Payoji Mani Kamaratana. Can you go to page I think we didn't include it, right? Ramaratana Dana Payo Payoji Mani Ramaratana Payo Vastu Amolaka Di Mere Sada Guru Kiripa Tara Panayo Payoji Mani and so once it's in a natural key, each school of thought can do it. The Northern Indian, Southern Indian, the whole world can sing it. And this gets popped in a lot of movies too, so it kept being reinvented. And that's all from, your straightforward, that we did our Saregams. But now we're going to go to page 11. And I'm sorry I scrolled it out very quickly, but just to show you that the Saregam is not always written in capital case. It's sometimes written in lowercase, and this is something I believe Kansab invented, Ali Akbar Khan, is that Saregama Pada Nisa are in capital letters, but when you're singing the minor key and the notes are lowered, you do a lowercase letter. It's just so simple once someone's discovered such a brilliant thing. Why didn't we think of that before? So this is Bhairavi. What do we know about Bhairavi? Bhairavi is the dawn. To us Westerners, it just sounds like melodic minor. It sounds so moving and so touching. It's a minor key. Our Gujarati Arti is in it. The 7 names of God is in it. And seemingly even Ishtiaki, which is Aswari, but it's similar, is in it with all these lovely flattened moving notes. So I wrote this out quickly with the flattened notes, And just so you could see and hear the difference, they're still our Saregams, but they're, so we start with our Sa, sing along, Sa, Sa, and they're much more joined, they're much more glissando than the natural. Ah, sa sa re re ga ga ma ma pa pa do do ni ni sa 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 ni ni do do po po ma ma ga ga re re sa sa re ga ma ga ma pa ma po do ni do ni sa ni do po do po ma ga re sa re ga ma pa do ni sa ni do po ma ga re sa re ga ma po do ni sa ni do po ma ga re sa re ga ma po do ni sa ni do po ma ga re sa re ga ma po do ni sa ni do po ma ga re sa Morning Raga, Bhakti, Shanti, Karuna is Bhairavi. Baba said, I am Bhairavi. So let's go to page 13.
That was beautiful, Raine.
It's nice to do our exercises. So here we have, again, it's my notation. I wrote a little book of the notation because they were just so spread out in my teacher's book. Although there's a wonderful book from Ali Akbar Khan College, aacm.org, by Kansar, by Ali Akbar Khan, with all of the ragas. I think it's, and you can go online and study there still. So you see we have the lowercase letters. This is a famous bhajan. So this bhajan's by Meera. And what does Meera say? This is when Meera is sort of being persecuted and she has a bit of attitude in this one. So in Kathak we would pull our head back and look like we have a bit of attitude in this one. She's found her temple and she's going to sit there and she's going to stay there no matter what the family thinks. I will sing and dance and recite God's virtues and attributes. no matter what, is what I hear in the background. I will sit in this beautiful temple until I'm finished. I will read the scriptures loudly. I'll tie knowledge and meditation in a neat little package like a top knot on the top of my head. And I will stay here with God's people. Mira loves Giridhara. Remember? Giridhara Nagara. Giridhara. This attribute of Krishna. Mira loves Giridhara, and I will always love the divine nectars that I have tasted. Hariguna. I will sing and dance and recite God's virtues and attributes. So let's try our Saregam again. And isn't this amazing? You know what I mean, and you're looking at the letters and not the words. This is something, huh? We're doing well. This is a gorgeous melody. Sa re ni sa ga ma pa da pa ga sa ga pa ma pa ga re ga sa re ni sa ga ma pa da pa ga sa ga pa ma pa re ga ga sa re ni sa ga ma pa da pa ga sa ga pa ma pa ga re ga sa re ni sa ga ma pa da ga pa ma pa ga re ga. Let's try the words now. Hare guna gawanta na chung gi maine. Hare guna gawanta na chung gi maine. Hare guna gawanta na chung gi maine. Next line is ma 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 pa ma 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 ga ma re sa sa ma 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 pa ma 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 ga ma re sa sa ma 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 pa ma 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 ga ma re sa sa ma 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 pa ma 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 ga ma re sa sa. Apane mandira mein baita baita tara. Apane mandira mein baita baita tara. Apane mandira mein baita baita tara. Saregam of the pa pa pa. You see, at this point, we're still just doing the chorus, the astai. This is a long chorus. Pa, 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 da, pa. Ah, no, the next line. Okay. Sorry. I'm not used to breaking it up like this. Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maine. Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maine. Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maine. Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi. To the top now. Hari Guna Gavata Nachungi Maine. Hari Guna Gavata Nachungi Maine. Apane mandira mein baita baita Vaitagara Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maina Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi. To the top again. Hari Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Hari Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Apane Mandirame Baita Gara Apane Mandirame Baita Gara Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maina Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maina. You see, you even know what that last line means. The Gita and the Bhagavata. She'll read the scriptures. Let's try it with a bit of percussion. It's really in Teen Tal, but we'll try it with Kathak Tal. Hare Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Hare Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Apane Mandirame Baita Kara Apane Mandirame Baita Kara Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maina Bhajungi Maina Hare Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Hare Guna Gavata Nachungi Maina Apane Mandirame Baita Kara Apane Mandirame Baita Kara Gita Bhagavata Bhajungi Maina Gita Bhagavata Nachungi Maina Hare Guna Gavata. So now we've got even a verse. But the rag is so lovely. We can have a go at it quickly because we have to move on. Are there any more questions? Diane?
Rani, we would like for you to sing these next Saturday.
Thank you. I will.
We would like for you to sing these, yeah, again. The
There's
Meera bhajans are beautiful.
Yeah, there's two here, so I'll be able to do those. And we've got the setup worked out with the boombox and the gungaroos and the. So
I wanted to add that it's Shailaja Mididota who says, "So beautiful, you're awesome, Rainey. Beautiful singing and dancing, Rainey." That's what she
I
said.
wish I could do Kathak. When I first went to my Indian teacher, I took the comic from India. And I took the comic along and held it up, and oh, there's Pam's new kitty. Oh, I took the comic along and said to this teacher, I want to do this. Well, it turns out Mirabai had the Tanpura here, the ketals here, the gungaroos on the feet, and she was singing. And the teacher said, yes, Rani Didi, we all want to do that. So I've had to learn how to be an Indian, bit of everything. So here we are on the Antara. The Antara sets up something a little more subtle and to an aside. Mira loves Giridhara. She's going to now set out, and she's got that knot on the stick, a pack in your scarf tied together. But what she got tied in there? Not food. She's got tied in there knowledge and meditation. And she will take that package and she will sing. So it starts out on this, such a nice and comfy note. So we better go. Da 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 ni sa ni da da ba ba da 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 sa ni da ni da ba ba. Where am I? Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. La 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 ki victory banda kara ya la ki victory banda kara pa 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 na na Mira sari do pa 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 na Mira sari do pa pa hari jana sanga mera maina hari jana sanga mera Gama Soni Sa Re Sa Re Sa Sa Re Sa Re Sa Gama Dani Sa Re Sa Re Sa Sa Re Sa Re Sa Ga Mira ke Prabhu Giridhara Nagara Mira ke Prabhu Giridhara Nagara Mira ke Prabhu Giridhara Nagara. This is her signature line. The second last line of all most Indian singing is who wrote it. It's Mira. Mira ke Prabhu Giridhara Nagara. So remember we had Giridhara and then we had Giridhara Nagara. This is the beautifully dressed, sophisticated Krishna. And now, Honey Bunny, you'll have to drop 2 octaves. Sa pa ga re sa sa. Did you catch that? Pa ga re sa sa. Da pa ma ga re ma ga re sa. Sa ga re sa sa. Da pa ma ga re ma ga re sa. And the tag at the bottom is easy because we know it now. Hare Guna Gavata Hare Guna Hare Guna Gavata Nacho Okay, let's throw on our tabla and have a go here. Are you ready? I'm ready, except all these keys keep falling off the harmonium and throwing me off here. Okay, We call this tabla player Anonji because it's an anonymous old cassette. I used to teach with cassettes and so on. Okay. Hare Guna Gata Natum Imaine Hare Guna Gata Natum Imaine Apane Mandirane Baita Baita Tara You see why you have to have incredible lungs to be a singer. So let us go now to something simpler. I just wanted to get the Bhairavi in. I wasn't sure on the timing because of Gujaratiati, because the 1-5 is still open. Sapa or do re mi fa so is still open in your tempura with those two very different ragas, the normal or natural and the Bhairavi. So now we're going to go to something very simple that every Indian child learns on page 15. This is in Malkorns, Malkush. It's called a lot of names in India. It's the same as one of our simple open string types of tunes, and it has though something different. It has sa and ma as the drone. That's a flattened ma, by the way, always. This is a lovely little raga. It's supposed to be at midnight, so please forgive us, Baba and the gods. And it's simple. It's just got, see on the top, ni sa, ga ma, do ni sa, sa ni do ni da ma ga sa. Remember we're talking about the Arohi and Avarohi, the different coming down to going up. They're the rules of this seemingly simple raga. Ni sa ga ma do ni sa sa ni do ni da ma ga sa. Ni sa ga ma do ni sa sa ni do ni da ma ga sa. by saying, Mira, she put the bells on her feet and is dancing. Now, each verse of this is an instruction into the saint Mira. And the first verse says, people say Mira is crazy. And her mother-in-law says, she gives the family a bad name. She married into a family with a different guru to Krishna, and she was already, in her mind, married to the beloved. She says, a bowl of poison was sent to me from my brother-in-law. I drank it, and it became nectar after I placed it at the beloved's feet. The next verse is, I laugh and dance because Krishna made it nectar. And then the next verse says, Mira loves Giridhara, who holds the mountain on one finger, who is miraculous. And I am forever your servant. I dare say it says Tinta. No, it says Kaherawa. There we go. See up the top there, we've got Tambura Sama, which is 1/4. Kaherawa Taal, which is our Daganati Takadina. Harmonium is open to Sama. How I open this harmonium here is the little pencils from the library. God bless the Berkeley Library. I put one on Sa and one on Ma, or one on Sa and one on Pa, and that holds the drone open. Well, it's catching on something. Got to be a little bit careful. Some harmoniums you can open the back and just pop the key onto the next one and it will stay open. And a lot of harmoniums are badly tuned to our ear, but in actual fact they're tuned to C sharp or G sharp where the C note is, because all of the classical stringed instruments are in those keys. So you have to be careful to take your tuner if you're going to buy a little harmonium that your C natural is C natural for our ear. Something sticking. Okay, there we go. So this is a lovely little tune. Let's have a go. Gasa, gama, gasa, nisa, dani, sa, ma, 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 gama, gasa, gama, gama, nisa, dani, sa, ma, 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 gama, gasa, gama, gasa, nisa, dani, sa, ma, ma, gama, gasa, gama, gasa, nisa, dani, sa, ma, ma, gama. And like Bhairavi, it is very glissando. It's very joined together. Now these maps, you couldn't really call them notation because they're maps. The minute any Indian, especially classical singer, sees these, they just get off the dots as fast as they can, like our jazz singers. They do not do paga, gunga, rubanda, mira, na, jiri. And then they'll launch into Nisagamadhanisa, or they'll launch into all sorts of the other arts within the classical pantheon. But the way to learn it in the beginning is with the direct melody like this. Pagagungaru. When you see that Chandra Bindi, the little moon and the dot, that's like a French NG. Rubang, but softer than our NG. What is it? Pagagunga rubanda mirana chiri. Pagagunga rubanda mirana chiri. Pagagunga rubanda mirana chiri. Pagagunga rubanda mirana chiri. Oh, I think we've already got that. It's so nice and simple. It's like one of our modes. And then we go to Mira telling the story of the people thinking she's crazy. Gama, mama, da, ni, sa, 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 ga, ni, sa, da mama da ni ni sa 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 la ni sa. You might wonder how to get up there. It's the same as when Pamela calls Jay. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. You go to that part of your voice. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Loga ka mira mai mawari. Loga ka mira mai mawari. Ni ni do ni sa 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 do ni da ma ma ga sa ga sa ni sa sa ma ma ga ma lo ga ka mira mai ma wa ri lo ga ka mira mai ma wa ri ni ni do ni sa 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 do ni da ma ma pa ga gun ga ru ba nda mera na chiri pa ga gun ga ru ba nda mera na chiri lo ga ka mera mai ma wa ri lo ga ka mera mai ma wa ri sa sa ka kula no si re pa ga gun ga ru ba nda mera na chiri pa ga gun ga ru ba nda mera na chiri vishaka pyano pana dina beja vishaka pyano pana dina beja viva tonira sire paga gunga gobanda mera na chiri paga gunga gobanda mera na chiri. Signature line. Mera tet prabhu giridhara nagara. Mera tet prabhu giridhara nagara. Manjo apavi dasire paga gunga rubanda mera na chiri paga gama dani sa dani gama dani gunga ruba sagama gama dama dani dani sa gunga ruba sani gama gama sa ni sa gama dani sa gunga ruba So I just did that at the end. If you just scroll down a tiny bit, Betty, you can see something down the bottom here called tans. And so that's a way to learn to start throwing in your saregams or throwing in your in between pieces on the song and take it into another realm after everyone's heard the basic melody. Away they go. And so you've got Nisa Gama Dani Sa Dani Dama Dani Gunga Ruba Anda Mira Sagama Gama Dana Dani Dani Sa Gunga Ruba Anda Mira Sani Dana Dama Sagama, and so on. Although if they're from a different school, they might just do a ka. And so there's dozens of different Gharanas schools that do different types of things on their bhajans. So now we'll go to something completely different. Page 16, please, Betty. We've got to get ready for our finale, you see. So here we have one of the most famous songs in all of India. And what do we find? It's in Dadina Daduna, Dadina Daduna, Dadina Da. It's in Dadra. It's in what we hear as da 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 in 3/4. But it's really 6/8. Anyway, it's in the raga Pilu. Pilu used to sort of be a popular raga in a lot of movies and things, and then suddenly everybody decided they loved Pilu, and it's now become very classical and very difficult, and so it's in Pilu. And I did not ask people to forgive my accent who are from the East. I'm just stuck with an Aussie accent. And so here we have a lovely little melody. I couldn't find it, but I have a beautiful CD of children singing Tumuka on the golden CD that has a lot of even our darling singers that would sing to Baba. So we won't go over the Saregams. I think you can read them quite well by now. This, you can see, it's got lowercase and uppercase and all sorts of things, but it just comes out a nice, simple little song, except, and I have the Devanagari there too, Shalaja, and I have the Devanagari at the bottom. It's good to learn Devanagari. It's very simple. It's just an ABC with 50 letters. So I think, can you scroll down and I'll see if I've put the Tan bowl. I'm not sure that I did that. Underneath, Betty? I did. So, yes, scroll down. So you'll see here something called, scroll down. Tumukachala. What we have here is something called bolo, Baba Bolo, speaking the chorus over and over, like a tag in a sense. So instead of, re re mama mama, they speak it. Tumukachala Rama Chandra, Tumukachala. They do bowls on the actual first line. So we'll go into some of that when we've learnt it. If we go back to page 16, please, Billy. So let's try it. I don't know if I can play it, but so long as I played it, but it's lovely. Oh, we've got to come out of that minor thing. Re ga re sani sa ni da pa da. Re ga re sani sa re. Oh, do I have 1/4 or 1/5 here? Ah, that's better. You see the difference there, musicians? Re ga re sa ni sa re sa ni sa ni da pa da. Re ga re sa ni sa re sa ni sa ni da pa da. Re ga re sa ni sa re sa ri sa ni da pa da sa re ga 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 sa re ga ma. Oh, that was mean of me. So what we have here is a beautiful little bhajan. This is so sweet. It brought tears to the eyes of, what is his name, that Baba scholar? It'll come back in a minute when I did it. Philip Luchtendorf, who's a scholar of Hindi, modern Hindi and modern Hindi movies and all of that. And so he was doing his doing a talk out here and a demonstration on how to make perfect chai. And this little story says, "Oh, baby Rama." This is also by Tulsidasa. So this is why Philip was so involved in this song. He has a new book out on Tulsidas. Tulsidas, to us students of my professor, we think of him as modern. We go back to the Rig Veda. So Tulsidas has these wonderful songs and stories and poems anyway. The baby Rama is walking and his little ankle bells are jingling. He is so sweet. And mother says, "Oh, baby Rama, how I love you. You sweet child, you are beautiful, and your nose jewel is so very sweet." Baby is walking and his bells are ringing and singing. Tulsidas the poet has seen all Rama's ornaments and all that he is, and I see him everywhere and in everything. But to be the mother of this beautiful, beautiful baby Rama. It's the sweetest thing, and children often sing it. So. Re ga re sa ni sa re sa ni sa ni da pa da. Re ga re sa ni sa re sa ni sa ni da pa da. Tomo ka chalata Ramachandra. 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 So the second line. Vajata, pada sa sa sarega ga ga saregama gama. Tricky, huh? Pada sa sa sarega ga ga saregama gama. Pada sa sa sarega ga ga saregama gama. It's not tricky once the words are there. Bhajata Bhajaniya. Bhajata Bhajaniya. Domo Kachalata Ramachandra. Domo Kachalata Ramachandra. Domo Kachalata Ramachandra. Bhajata Bhajaniya. Somoka Chalata Ramachandra. So with this one's different. We do the first line 3 times and the second line 1 time. It still totals 4. And the little verses are quite simple. Kilaki, kilaki, uttatadaya. Kilaki, kilaki, uttatadaya. Kilaki, kilaki, uttatadaya.
Listening to hi Shana, I saw you yesterday.
Could you mute? Thanks, Sally. I'll have to start. Kilaki, kilaki, uttatadaya. Kilata bhumi latakadaya. Kilata bhumi latakadaya. Daya matu gola heta. Darashat harirani la. Tomo kachalata Ramachandra. Tomoka Salata Ramachandra Bhajata Bhajaniya Tomoka Salata Ramachandra. You can see that it's a children's song, that it's 3/4, that it has easier words, and Tulsidas probably took this into account. And I'd just like to show you the, just scroll down to the bowl tans. Tans are when we nisagamada sa, but here we're bowling tanning down further. Down further. Yes, here we have just the first 3. So then we would go re 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 ma 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 pa pa da ma ga re tomo ke chalata Ramachandra 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 Bhajata Bhajaniya Tomo ke chalata Ramachandra. Shall we try it? What about if we try it with, I hope this works, Tomaki. Let's try to sing it. Yes, it's in there. I'll try and do this. Okay, here we go. Back to the other page, please, Betty. Sarega Tomo ke chalata Ramachandra Tomo ke chalata Ramachandra Tomo ke chalata Ramachandra Bhajata Bhajaniya Tomo ke chalata Ramachandra Kiyaki Kilaki Uttadaya Kilaki Uttadaya Kirata Pumilata Bhagaya Kirata Pumilata Bhagaya Daya Matu Koda Leta Daya Matu Koda Leta Nasharana Hirani Ya Tomo ke Jalata Ramachandra Tomo ke Jalata Ramachandra Tomo ke Jalata Ramachandra Bhajata Bhajaniya Tomo ke Jalata Ramachandra Anchala Raja Mangalari Anchala Raja Mangalari Divina Prada Solari Divina Prada Solari Salamana Vari Vari Salamana Vari Vari Lata Lata Vanya Ya Tomo Kacharata Ramachandra Tomo Kacharata Ramachandra Tomo Kacharata Ramachandra Ananda, Tulasi Das, Ati Ananda, Jaya Mukaravinda, Jaya Raghuvana Chovisa Sana, Raghuvina Chagoram Sama, Raghuvana Viranya Agomocharana Ramachandra, 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 Bhajaniya, Ramachandra, page 17. Ramachandra, How was the CD, Betty? Could you hear it?
Yeah, Baba.
Beautifully. Yeah, that's not a problem. Sound is
Okay,
good.
so now I think we should go back and do our right back to page page 13, please.
Anbe has just joined us. I don't know if you know him, but he's here.
Yes,
Jai
I
Baba,
do.
Anbe.
We're not singing in French, Anve. We're singing in Australian Hindi, and you'll have to forgive us for that. So we're going to go to page 13 for you, track 3 for me. Okay, I'm getting this together here. I can't believe it. Okay.
Which page, Rainey?
Page 13, please.
Oh.
Page 13, yes. Right back. We've come a long way. Oh, it's... Okay, so are you ready? Remember now we're going to... Saregam Padani Sani Dapa Magare Sada Kungar. Oh no, the wrong one. Okay. Let's try that again. Hare Guna. I can't read my own writing. 3. Okay, I went to 4. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Hariguna Gawata. Hariguna Gawata Natu Ki Maina. Hariguna Gawata Natu Ki Maina. Avane Mandera Vaita Vaita Avane Mandera Vaita Vaita Ita Bhagavata Vantungi Maina Ita Bhagavata Vantungi Maina Hare Guna Gavata Natu Ki Maina Jnana Jnana Ki Nakari Bandakar Jnana Jnana Ki Nakari Bandakar Hare Jana Sangha Mera Bhumi Maina Ahira Giridhara I know you completely got that together. It's a beautiful bhajan in Bhairavi. Next we will go to, except Betty's not here now, our other, we've got two to go. We know this next one well. Oh, and it's track one, so that makes it easy. Betty, dear? Betty, we need to go back to onto page 15.
Hi, Eric. How's it going? I forgot to pin the code.
Sarega, you please. Sarega, thank you. So now we're going to go to page 15. This is our finale of our course. And so that one, remember, that was the 1-4. That was the different drone. And it was So now we're going to do it with Rani Didi, the famous singer with Auntie Katie here, Rani Didi. And so let's go. Let's have a go at it. Nice and short. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Yoga kahe mera pai mahari. Yoga kahe mera pai mahari. Saga hai pura nasire. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Isha ka pyara rana hina meja. Isha ka pyara rana hina meja. Tivata mira hansi re. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Mira ke Prabhu kira rana. Mira ke Prabhu kira rana. Maindo ahi rasile. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda mirana chiri. Pada gungaru banda. Sagamada ni dani gamadani gungaru banda. Dani dama dama sagamada ni sa gungaru banda. Sagamada dama dama madani dani sa gungaru banda. Mirana chiri. Voila! Class of 2021, you all get an A+. An A+, I have to say. But just before we close, singers that were in the Hindi mode, I'd like you now to go to page 18, Betty. Okay. Please join me in the Hindi arti. Nisa gama pa nisa, nisa nida pa ma pa ma. Please join me in the Hindi arti. Adi Sachetana, Shanti Niketana. Adi Sachetana, Shanti Niketana. Namo Brahma Avo Mera Prabhu Arati अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ प्रेम दीपा में दिए जलाओ प्रेम दीपा में दिए जलाओ निविदा अंधेरा मिटता पाओ निविदा अंधेरा मिटता पाओ अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें जगाओ अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें जगाओ तुम मुझको सरसाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ जीवन की हर सांस हमारी जीवन की हर सांस हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी हे करुणाकर लीनधारी हे करुणाकर लीनधारी तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ बंदे आरती जीवन मेरा बंदे आरती जीवन मेरा आदि अंत ले हो गेरा आदि अंत ले हो गेरा खुले नयन और देखे सवेरा खुले नयन और देखे सवेरा तुम मुझ में जाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ आदि सचेतना शांति निकेतना आदि सचेतना शांति निकेतना नमो ब्रह्मा आओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेरा प्रभु आरती अपनाओ Jai Baba. You can take down the PDF now, Betty.
Oh, here we are.
Hello.
That was wonderful, Rainey. Thank you so
Alright.
much.
And it's all recorded, so we have
Yes, thank you.
posterity.
I tried to stay on schedule. They're most glorious tunes, and if you set them up correctly, they'll just come back to you, you know, and you can practice then with this on YouTube. I tried to not do too much talking, and they're such gorgeous tunes and ragas. We do definitely start out with normal, our major, and then we do go to Bhairavi with my teacher. Then I went to Kafi, then I went to Malcorns, and now you all know what I'm talking about. This is spectacular.
Thank you so much, Rainey. It was wonderful. I've never had this kind of glimpse into any kind of Indian music, and just showing the rhythms and the tones was really wonderful. Thank you so much.
You put great energy into it, Rainey. It's wonderful to see you singing. You're such a pro, I guess. It's wonderful. I'm glad to.
What I did, I actually, much to can we turn the recording off now?
Okay.
Wow, so beautiful, Rainey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just the bit of it.
So Francis and Mani invented a form of notation like Saregam. Yeah. Like Saregam. And it had all the same bar lines, but instead of the sa 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 ga 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 pa pa ma pa pa, they put 1 1 1 3 3 3 5 5 4 5 5. It's so much easier. It's bilingual, right? Or ek ek ek, teen teen teen, and so on. But they'd use numbers. So if Baba really liked the melody, Francis could capture that melody by Mani jotting it down in the number form. So when we first came to Baba and learnt all Francis's songs, we learnt to read number Saregam, I suppose. I didn't know it was Saregam. I didn't know about any such thing until 1990 when I started studying. And I'm thinking, this is so easy. And then I remembered why it's so easy, because it's Francis's notation. We learned all the early songs for the first 3 years in Francis's number notation. He would send songs back to Australia in that notation as well. And so I picked up notation. So in a way, I sort of realized very quickly, you know, I'm just a mug in this. This, you have to have the whole thing. I did go and do 6 years of Kathak to try and get a little bit of subtle movement down. But really, what I could do, though, is instruct. Because I can relate it to Western music. I have a licentiate in Western music. So this became a bit of a joke that by the time I did Kathak, Anuradha Nag, who was a disciple of, his name will come back, she didn't like my name Raine. She couldn't quite pronounce it, so she just started calling me Rani. And then because I'm older, the oldest student in the class, by then I was at least 45 or something, I became Rani Didi, older sister. So I went to India and Katie asked me to sing something I'd learned from this woman, this Rita Sahai, you know. So I did Payuji Money. Well, Katie teased the bejabbas out of me and said, oh, you know, you were smelling the juice and drinking the flowers. And she'd tease me about my comprehension of the language, which wasn't true. She'd do it on purpose, so as I'd memorize it better, you know, and get the chungi. And so I'd perform these things. So what happened was I ended up with 2 songs on Sundays. Raine could sing and Rani Didi could sing. Secondarily, something very strange happened. I was teaching. My teacher then told me I should teach. So I started teaching, not just Western voice, some Indian students too. Suddenly, I get a call from UC Berkeley asking me, could I please teach this one student, an advanced violinist, first violinist in their orchestra, because he wants to learn his own music, do one set of credit points in his own music, and his grandmother really only wants him to learn from me. Now, I still have not ever sorted out why that was. She was in southern India. Turned out this lad was a Carnatic prodigy violinist. And here he was playing first violin in the music department in the orchestra at UC Berkeley. So he comes along and straight away he grabs the violin here that's Frainie's and he starts playing all this southern Indian music, you know, and do I have a dolak on tape, which I did, and I'm terrified of him. No, he wants to start with natural, Bhairavi. He doesn't know Northern Indian ragas. He knows Southern Indian ragas. And he wants to start at the start. I had him for 3 years. I learned so much. We did all Baba's favorite bhajans, which you've just heard several of them, the first year. The second year we did all, I also have another course I'll do in Urdu ghazals. He learned Urdu in 3 months to do the Urdu ghazals. And in the last year, I presented him with the English language ghazal by great poet Francis Brabazon. That was the course. And I learned so much by doing that, and I ended up with more and more students. And I got paid as a 150D, a private professor. And Katie Auntie just thought this was the fun of cool. Nobody from nowhere who doesn't exist, became Professor Rani Didi. This was her favorite joke, you know, that I gig for years. And it sort of built up my students at home too. So, and then I started performing at the festivals and things, and then, you know, it went into, should we really be doing this when we're not Indian? And then I ended up with a professor. By chance, I went to hear Phil Luchtendorf speak, Philip Luchtendorf, and another professor speak about bhakti. And I was sitting next to this man, and I'd broken my arm in India. And he said, "Oh, isn't this amazing?" And I said, "Yes, I actually know this guy." "How do you know him?" I said, "Oh, I've known him for a long time. But I bought a broken arm and I'm nearly going crazy. I can't do music." He said, "Oh, you can audit all my lectures." This guy's speaking with a Mexican accent. He is the major professor of ancient Hindu mythology at UC Berkeley. I did 3 years of lectures with him, Rig Veda, everything. So he would then have me sing at the summer school, the mantrams, the Gayatri, the Mrityunjaya, all of these things, because his students were Indian, but they were born here. And their parents wanted to do the summer school to learn their own music. So suddenly I wasn't naughty by being an Indian musician. It was highly necessary that I was part of all of this. And that's how Professor Rani Didi became our barber's amusement. And I'm a teacher of it. I see myself as a teacher of it more than a performer of it. And fortunately, someone asked me to do this course, and I pulled out all the harmoniums and all the bells and whistles, and Professor Rani Didi's up and running again. Barber's humor's unending.
Raine, how old was your student, your prodigy?
He might have been 26. Now, right after he finished with me, the master of the gamelan department, see, the birdie says it's true. We trained this birdie, we told it about the clock in India, so it tells the truth when it tweets. So the gamelan master heard about him, that he could sing and he could read Saregam. So he asked him to please play a sacred violin, the only one in California that had belonged to his father, in the gamelan orchestra. So I said, "Nothing doing, I'm coming too. If you're going to go, I'm going to go." We sat down, the notation was put in front of us, and it was numbers, Pam.
Oh.
It was so we're ripping along because he's done the Francis Brabazon numbers guzzles thing, we're ripping along in this gamelan orchestra for a semester. He went on stage with them with the father's Javanese violin. Talk about a guy that could do anything. And his grandmother was thrilled,
Oh, it's just
But then his father rang me from India and said, "So now what can he really do?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe he should be a green environmental scientist." Just came off the top of my head. Okay, we'll look at that. Because he needed a real degree, right? This guy's got degrees up the wazoo in music, but that won't do. Yeah, lovely boy, Rama. Anyway, I just learned so much. And I learned how to construct a course in different ways, just not the linear way of the college or Rita G. Rita Sahai of Berkeley is still a teacher. She still has groups in Sacramento, Berkeley, San Jose. She still teaches.
Oh my goodness.
She probably called me Didi too. She was probably younger than me, although I didn't know that. She was just like this huge brain as far as I was concerned. We have lunch sometimes at Vic's. Yeah. So any questions about our course that we that need clarification?
I had a question about Indian music. I know that the drone is a form of harmony with the melody that you're singing, but do they ever sing harmonies in Indian music?
Well, they do now because Ravi Shankar and Ali Akbar Khan, Zakir Hussain live right here. And Ali Akbar Khan formed orchestras with us all playing guitars and Western instruments and pianos, anything. It ended up, because of Ali Akbar Khan being here since the late 60s, and just here at Julia Morgan Theatre, things evolved. And then people started getting degrees in music, writing their thesis on Ali Akbar Khan and Ali Akbar Khan College of Music in Marin County. So harmony did drift in. But it's very tricky because of that sharpened fourth that can be there, or the flattened seventh and the natural seventh in the one raga. So it was still sitting on the fifth or duplicating itself if it could be. He would write songs so it could happen.
Yeah.
But no, not usually. No.
Okay.
That's why it's all, when we sing in octaves, they just think we're geniuses. They just think it's wonderful because it's confusing to them. So the tabla sa is the same as the Tanpura, sa and the harmonium sa, or one, or the root of the chord, are always tuned together. And then it will be sa pa 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 sa pa 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 sa, played out of time. It can't fall in on the beat. And that way you get the overtones. The overtones happen by themselves.
Yeah.
Happen by themselves. So the orchestra is all tuned to whatever that musician's sa is. He's not going to say to you it's in C major, it's in D major, it's in G sharp. You're supposed to know it's sitar, it's in G sharp, or so on. Our whole listening years were with Aliappa Khan, so it was Sarega. A sublime sliding instrument, no frets. And if you go to aacm.org, you can hear a master playing some of the most sublime music all over that site. And you can even take classes there or get into their library. It's an astonishing situation at aacm.org, even though Kansal has passed. His son Alam is a famous Sarod player. His older family, they all play Sarod. One plays tabla. And his younger family all play Sarod. One daughter's an artist of Kansal. He had a young Western wife. And that is all still going on at aacm.org. But anyway, you've kick-started me back to pick up, and I thought it would take years. It took 6 weeks to get back into my sight reading so good because of Francis and Mani and the Javanese and Rita G.
You were in the right place.
Rani, I call you Rani, Raine. I've been able to play Satchitananda on my dulcimer,
Right.
with a capo to make it an E minor.
Right.
But I can't play the 7 names of God on that
Now
because
that's all Bhairavi. That's melodic minor.
right.
So even though it's melodic minor, you can try 1/4, but it's probably 1/5. Actually, if you, I can forward it to you in Saregam and put numbers above it for you. And you'll hear Bojawe. So you know it's minor right away. So on the dulcimer, just put the capo on the first fret.
I tried that, but there was a note missing.
Oh, then just pass it and sing it. You know, I've looked at it. It really doesn't have anything difficult there. It's straight minor.
Okay.
Sa sa re sa ni sa ma 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 ga ma pa ma ga ma re ga sa ma ga re sa. It's straightforward melodic minor.
Okay.
No, you'll do well. And the thing is too, the dulcimer really suits Indian music because it's modal. The baga gungaru, you'll be rocking out on that one. Did I send you the PDF in the end?
No, you didn't send it to me.
I'll send you the PDF, yeah.
Send it over.
Okay.
Thanks.
My neighbour, thank you, Ian, I cooked him an Indian meal and he did the PDF for us. And Betty said, "Oh, look at that. This is going to be easy."
What?
Never mention the easy word. It's Maya Baba. Don't go there. Freak me out. But it went fairly well, except for the keys falling off the harmonium.
Fascinating. I'm so glad we had this extra, 20 minutes. It's wonderful to hear the story. Wow. You're in the right place, Raine, for sure.
Well, you know, I don't really go to the teachers so much anymore. Number one, it's across the bridge. And but they do it on Zoom, and now I'm thinking of talking to Alam and Khan, Aliappa Khan's youngest son. He's a very advanced Sarod player, but I'm sure some of us students of 30 years, we're the teachers because we're still consolidating everything. They're born with it, you know. And and pick up some courses again. And I remember once, this is a nice Baba story. So Patrick and Sarah were in India when Professor Rani Didi, just Rani Didi first emerged. And I did a dance and some songs, and he fell in love with Payoji Mani Ramarata. He fell in love with this song. He fell in love with gazing into your eyes. Similar, right? And he fell in love with Sometimes It Amazes Me. The power of love can be. So what we did was he was asked by the Swiss embassy in New York to put on a dance. So he wrote a quarter of an hour dance, including Take My Breath Away, Mira Bhajan, and Gazing. And all I had to do was sit in the center and do them. We opened up with Mira Bhajan, and Patrick, I mean, he was flying in the air. He might as well be a bird, that guy. He was just doing this dramatic dance for Mira and her suffering and everything. And then we went into Gazing Into Your Eyes. It all worked because he's such a brilliant dancer. And then we went into Take My Breath Away, and then he danced in silence. I think Sarah has it on video. It's astonishing. So anyway, there's an article in the New York Times about us. And at this point, I might have been doing Indian music about 2-3 years. So I come back and I take it all proudly to Rita G. Rita, look, I'm in the New York Times. What is it with you Westerners? You sing one bhajan and one raga and you're in the New York Times. I know 500 ragas. I've never been in the New York Times. It must be old karma or something, And I felt a little bit embarrassed, but on another level, I was kind of pleased with myself because she was a rather strict teacher.
What was the event? What was the event, Raine?
It was the Swiss Dance Festival from the Swiss Embassy of New York, and he was the featured guest as a New York successful modern dancer. He had a quarter of an hour.
Wow.
And it was in this gorgeous, huge church down on 11th Street in New York somewhere. I mean, it was spectacular, and he was spectacular. And that's how creative they are. The dance was called Mira Bhajan, but it had Gazing and Take My Breath Away in it too.
Wonderful to find a clip of that.
And that's actually why I ended up doing a CD early, because I thought dancers, even though it's a beginner's CD, might like it. And then my husband did Ayurveda, and so he was listening to with the wrong sa pas and the wrong sa mas, Pam, the wrong 1/4s and the wrong 1/5s. He was listening to mantra CDs for Ambo Vasuvahat Tatsavitu Varenya, the wrong backup. So I thought, I better make a CD of that, so I better learn Sanskrit. And so that's how I learned to write Devanagari and read Devanagari, was for this CD. Now, of all things, this CD became a bestseller out in the world by Rani Didi, Nada Om Mantra. And it's got, the Parusha, the Gayatri, the Mrityunmayan. It's got the 12 postures of the Saraya Namaskara and so on. And I really did a lot of work for a couple of years to pull this CD together, but it came a good seller out in the world with great reviews. And so Rani Didi took off despite herself. But I must say I learned a tremendous amount around Rosalie, the late Karen Sturken, all us girls who were with Johnny Connors and the Gopis. And my selection of Qawwali and Ghazal through him, through Adi, through Bal, led me to want to know this. What is it really? And Bill said, you're just making it up. That's not what it is. They're not scatting. They're naming the notes. And that's how in 1989 it all started.
It's Johnny Connors.
John Connors.
John Connors. Oh, sure. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
We were Johnny Connors and the Gopis. It was so fabulous. We had no idea what we were doing. Saregam बढ़ा दीजिए, Saregam बढ़ा दीजिए, Saregam बढ़ा दीजिए, Papi मुस्कुरा दीजिए. Now this was easier for us because it's in a key. It's Urdu. It's Pali and Ghazal. And but when I had to come back to Base Camp 101 with ragas to know what I was doing, because they throw in the Saregam in the Ghazal and Qawwali too. They toss in Isagamadanisa in the middle of Lazategam. And we learned tricky things, Rosalie, without really knowing what we were doing. We learned tricky things. Rosalie was the only one that could get down. Dun, 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 dun. What was
that one? I love that. Muchkosaki.
Muchkosaki. Oh, struggling with that.
Kasaki ne Jorukasakapia. That's a good one. Oh my
Yes,
God.
and I couldn't work out that it was in 3/4. You just get muddled, you know. So that was another advantage of having done ragas with Didi and the college. And the other one, then I realized, Dil hi dil me, heart mohoke, dil kane re jayang. Yes. Oh, it's 3/4. They have 3/4 as well. They waltz as well. So it was a very long, very dumb, very gradual process. And here's this person with a licentiate in voice, guitar, and history of music struggling away. So, as Diana said, it can be very confusing if it's not taffied out like this, you know, to see how it can fusion and enhance our music, or a bit of both, you know, especially when our major artists are all in. Well, the thing with Adi Sachetana, the reason it's so easy, it's in a raga. It's in normal, natural raga. And it was written, the melody was written by Rustam Kaka, who was a famous Eastern harmonium player with every famous singer. And Barbara had ordered him to do it, and he didn't finish the words, and Val finished the words off. He'd just done the chorus and the melody. So it's so much easier for us because it's Adi Sachet, it's major. But just the same, Bujave is minor. Melodic.
So is Rustam Kaka a Baba lover? Not.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
His son now says he wrote it, but I studied it 73, 74, 75 with Rustam Kaka in his house. So he's older and forgetful too. But he was a famous harmonium player with big tributes in the paper when he passed. There's a great story. So one of the great harmonium players here out in Walnut Creek, he would see me play Tanpura. You know, one of the ways to be in the suite with your teacher is to play Tanpura behind them while they perform, and you pick up a lot, you know. So he had seen me at many concerts. Arun, I think his name was, and he would see us every second week down here at the concert hall where Ali Bakan, Alaraka, all these stars would perform on the corner of our street. We'd take Raine every 2 weeks and watch these geniuses, you know. And anyway, one day I'm at Vic's Chat restaurant, and this guy comes, this Arun comes over and says, hi. He said, I was just telling my friend here that, no, that person's not the greatest harmonium player in the world. Rustam Kaka. Rustam Kaka was a Parsi. Rustam Kaka is the greatest harmonium player in the world, and he doesn't believe me. Could you come and tell him the story of Rustam Kaka? It's still not Baba related, right? So I go over and tell the man the story about Rustam Kaka, sing a little bit of Adi's Chetana, and he's fascinated. And then I told him where the newspaper article was and whatever. After he left, no, he didn't leave. After he left, Arun came and said, you know, I know another man that would like to meet you. And I can't think of his name right now. And he said, but anyway, his whole family met Meher Baba.
Yeah.
They did? He said, yes, let me link you up with him. So he links me up with him. He lives in a skyscraper in Oakland because his wife works for Kaiser. I go in with tape recorder. I went in, and it turns out his family owned the clothing shop in Ahmednagar that made some of Baba's clothes. Baba knew the whole family, and they were friends with Sarosh. And Baba would drive past in the car. He'd always stop outside the shop, and all the little children would run out dressed up and wave to him in their good kurtas and things. And they all knew about Meher Baba. That man's brother ran the TB clinic at Mehrabad, that Dr. Ali.
Wow.
His brother. He knew all about Baba. He knew everything. And while he's talking to me, he's crying, but he doesn't follow Baba. That whole family are related to Sharmila. Sharmila is his niece from Pune and Mehrabad. It had the restaurant in Oregon and Seattle and everything. So I taped his story and sent the tape off to Janet Judson. I mean, even though you're there with Krishna or you're doing Baba music, you don't necessarily always bring up Baba's name. They know at the college I follow Meher Baba, but Baba pushes in anyway. He likes all this. He somehow likes all this.
Wow.
Shamila Shalagram, that's her name, yeah, is his niece.
Wow. Raine. Magnificent.
All right, my dears, I better go and pick up Raine from Jack and Nancy's, and thank you so much for coming. And
That was great.
Wonderful.
maybe you'll be up early in the morning for to present some Brabazon. I'm just the host. I suppose I have a co-host. I hope I have a co-host for Memories of Francis's Poetry.
Me, Raine.
Oh, thank you. Good.
Yeah, you're stuck with me all weekend.
I know, how sweet. I like that. We're both Bay Area gals, really.
Yeah.
I still, Rainey, I still am fascinated. I want to try chartreuse.
Oh yes, well there.
Yeah. I just want to see
They
what
just
is.
they have little weenie bottles at the.
But not here. I can't.
Oh.
The man said no. I have to special order it. You know, Myrtle Beach is zero. It's just zero. You know.
You just have to manual one. There's no way around it. It tastes like green leaves with a little bit of flour in them. I mean, a lot of these liqueurs were tonics. Ursula tells me that
Yeah.
Meister was a tonic when she was a kid from the monks.
Wow.
There's 59 herbs in it.
I see. That's what I mean. That's why I'm kind of fascinated to taste it. Yeah.
I think you better turn the recording off, Betty. We're talking about alcohol.
No.
Well, give me wine. Give me wine.
I did meet Brabazon one time. He came when I was here in '76. They all came in a big group. And I said something to him about a song that I heard he liked. It was an American song. He says, that was the past. He shut me down like a...
What, he said that was a...
Look me very gruff.
That was the past?
I can't remember. Could it be you're cheating hard? Or I don't know. He said that was the past. I mean, you know, he just like cut me off. But I have to say, that was so wonderful of the Australians singing in the Mandalay Hall. It was just wonderful. Just wow.
Yeah, we really learned our lessons well. I wanted to say that a lot of the songs we did today are on this Meher Ki Nazar, Nada Om, Bhajans and art. So it's good to play along. Most of them are in C. It's pretty easy. And they're the ones I'd mostly do in Mandalay Hall once Rani Didi got born.
What's your contact information, Raine?
Shariar.org.
Shariar. Oh, okay.
Shariar.
Has Meher Ki Nazar, Nada Om Mantra. And Shariar, I think, now has Nada Om Mantra. Nada Om Mantra is good to know that you can just play a drone and do all these. Most mantras are just Sarega. They're 3 notes. And this has a 16-page book in it. This has everything in it. All the secrets I found out from the sound yoga people. So this one is just beginner's selection. And the drawing is by Judith Ernst. She's so beautiful.
Well,
the drawing. Oh, wow.
She's a great artist too. And this Krishna Baba is by Lisa Greenstein behind me.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Well, bye-bye, everybody.
Well,
have
I
a
gotta go too.
weekend.
Say bye-bye.
See you tomorrow. Come back for Francis.
See you in the morning.
All right.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Jai Baba.
All right.
Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Thank you.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba, Jai Baba.